could talk about these movies day and night until I die. So here are my top 15 movies of the year. I could have done 10, but I liked things too much, so I will tell you my top 15 as well as some honorable mentions. First of all, the honorable mentions go to 1917, The Lighthouse, Frozen 2, Joker, and Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. All movies I loved, especially 1917, who will probably take home the Academy Award this weekend. So now, my top 15. Number 15 is The Irishman. Netflix original, super long, Martin Scorsese, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci. Everyone delivers. It is a perfectly crafted film. It is made delicately, and it is executed delicately and intentionally. And I think that that's rare. But all of these men are so experienced in their fields, and you can tell when you watch that. Number 14, Toy Story 4. This movie, I thought I didn't want it. I thought I know everything I need to know about Toy Story. Toy Story is perfect as it is, and it doesn't need a fourth movie. And God, I was so wrong. I was so glad to be so wrong, because I never thought I'd get so emotionally attached to a spork. The thematics are a bit heavier than what Disney's usually used to. I think it just shone so brightly and made me feel so much, and teaches us a really important lesson about independence and about letting go and about moving on and about self-growth. And I think that is something very unexpected to get out of a movie about toys, but it was lovely. Number 13, Hustlers. Please, if you haven't gone to see this yet, what are you doing? Go watch Hustlers. It is so much fun, and I think that's so important for a movie, is to be fun. But more than that, it touches on a lot of topics that are just never talked about. You know, the 2008 financial crisis, or, you know, what it's like to be a sex worker in the United States. And I think that Jennifer Lopez, as well as every single woman who was in that film, just treated the story so respectfully and also so authentically that you can't help but love them all. You can't help but sympathize. You can't help but want to be there for the journey. And you also have so many laughs. How can you not, when you've got people like, you know, Lizzo and Cardi B and Lily Reinhart just giving all of these wonderful performances. The J-Lo pole dancing scene will go down in cinematic history, and I think about it every day. It was so fucking incredible. She is crazy. She's crazy. Criminal by Fiona Apple. It's just, so good. Number 12, Knives Out. This is also one of those fun movies. It's a classic whodunit, but told in modern times, touching on very important themes. The ensemble cast is just crazy good, and you can tell that they're all giving it their all. They believe in the project, and I think that projects like that are also rare to come about. Daniel Craig's accent, so good. Number 11, Uncut Gems. Something I didn't think I would like nearly as much as I did. Gave me so much anxiety, had me talking up Adam Sandler for the first time in my life. It was wild. It's a wild movie. The amount of feelings I felt throughout the whole movie were unlike any I had felt for any other movie. I was so scared for all these characters, so nervous. I needed to breathe, and the movie would not let me breathe. And I was like, ah! But in a great way. Number 10, I Lost My Body, which is a French animated Netflix film with musical compositions by Dan Levy. And this movie freaked me the fuck out when I first watched it. I was like very uncomfortable, and then it sat with me for a few days, and then it all hit me at once. And I think movies like that are so important. And I Lost My Body really flew under the radar. I would give it Best Animated Feature. I know I won't get it, but I thought it was beautiful. It touched on so much while not being explicit about it. It wasn't like, here's the message we want to give you. It just kind of laid everything out for us in a strange way. It was a lovely film. Number 9 is Midsommar. That was also kind of like I Lost My Body, where I wasn't sure about how I felt about it, and then I took it with me for a few days, and then just yeah, I can't recommend Midsommar enough, especially if you're into thrillers and horror. I think it's such a fresh take on things like that, with the beautiful pastel color palette, and all the performances and the music, the musical composition for this film is, I think, what drives it forward and gives you that weird psychedelic, uncomfortable, culty feeling to it all. It's a crazy, crazy movie and really gets into your head and under your skin. Number 8 goes to Booksmart, which go watch Booksmart. It's everything you've been waiting for. It's here. It's arrived. Olivia Wilde gave it to you. Go get it. It's a happy buddy comedy. It's nostalgic. It hurts. Beanie and Caitlin give these lovely performances, and you can tell that they love each other and they love these characters and they give them their all, and I think Booksmart just should be a classic. It will be a classic, and it just makes me so happy. So, side note, now that we've reached the top 7, these top 7 films, I struggled with a lot kind of placing and figuring out where I wanted them to go, just because they're all interchangeable. They could easily all get the number 1 slot. These top 7 were just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous films that I can't recommend enough. So I will start with the number 7 slot that I gave to The Farewell, starring Awkwafina, and this movie just... it was mostly about the writing. I mean, Awkwafina's performance was... literally, she should have been nominated for this, and she should have won. I would give her the Oscar in a heartbeat. She was so raw, and she took on this project that, you know, touched on grief and loss and cultural differences, and the differences, you know, between growing up in the West and, you know, her family back in China. And she just... it's incredible to watch her do something like this after seeing her do comedy for so long. Not that because she couldn't, just because she hadn't. And I just think, you know, actors should be more than one thing, and she is more than one thing. She is all of the things, and this movie is all of the things, and it is a beautiful, beautiful film that is so specific in its story, but also incredibly universal. Number 6 goes to Little Women, because I cried, and I cried, and I cried, and I cried, and I still can't really pinpoint why I cried as much as I did. But Little Women tells a simple story, as a lot of the things that Greta Gerwig does, is that she tells these very simple stories that we've all lived through and we all can relate to them, but she crafts them in a way that they're a gift now, that she's perfectly arranged it just for you, and she's put all of her heart and soul into directing this film and writing this film. This cast also just works so well together. It's every person I've ever loved is in this cast, and they all seem like they're in love with the film and in love with the setting, and it all feels very dreamlike, like a memory that we've all lived through, even though we definitely haven't. And Greta just she's my hero. Okay, number 5, we've got one of my favorite movies of the year that it hurt me to put it at number 5 because I wanted to give it the number 1 slot, but life is what it is. Cayden Glory, which is a Spanish film starring Antonio Banderas, that got him his Oscar nomination this year. And this movie took me by surprise. It held my hand, it crushed my heart, it glued it back together, it stroked my hair. I don't know if movies can do that, but this is what this movie did. It kind of follows the main character through him trying to reconcile a lot of his old relationships that crumbled, and it goes through his childhood and his current life, as well as touching on topics like drug abuse. It's beautiful in writing and beautiful in delivery, in that every shot is special and every shot, you know, hits like a ton of bricks in such a good, pure way. It's not optimistic and it's not pessimistic, it just is what it is. Oh, this fucking movie. Please, just watch it, please. Number 4, Jojo Rabbit. I knew I was going to love this, and I did. I'm a sucker for a good comedy. I'm a sucker for something that's super fucking weird, but also makes so much sense. I love telling people what it's about because they're like, what's Jojo Rabbit? And I'm like, it's about a little boy who loves Hitler. And everyone's like, what? And I'm like, yes. I had so much fun watching this, and I laughed until my sides hurt, and I also cried and cried and cried. I think comedy cannot exist without a little bit of sadness, and Jojo Rabbit knows that and delivers. It's a lovely, lovely film. Please go watch it if you get the chance. Number 3. Parasite. Oh my god, Parasite. Oh my god, Parasite. I've just rewatched Parasite, and it is just as crazy as it was the first time. It will never stop being a crazy story. Oh my god. I think if you're going to watch Parasite, you should go in completely blind. I went completely blind. I didn't know what was going to happen. I thought the story was going in one direction. It went in another direction, and then in another, and another, and another. But it all made so much sense. It wasn't out of nowhere. Everything was thought of. The directing is the best of the year. And it was one of those times where, you know, you're in a theater, and the theater is united. The audience members are laughing together, gasping out loud, feeling the nervousness for these characters. It's something so special to be able to go watch a movie that makes everyone in the room feel like that. Give it all the awards. Number 2, I think flew under the radar this year. Should have been recognized. I guess it was early on in the year. I don't know, but this movie has stuck with me, and I feel so fortunate to live in a time where Jordan Peele is making movies because, oh my god, Jordan Peele. Us is what I'm talking about. Us. Lupita Nyong'o, in the words of Sammy Paul, gave 2 of the best performances of the year because she just took that role and ran with it, and gave us a movie that is so dynamic in the way that it rolls. Also, just the first half of it is this horrible home invasion sequence that made me so nervous, but also so excited to be nervous, because movies don't typically make me nervous, but this one I was like on edge the whole time. And then it turns into something else halfway through the film, and it's just beautiful and sad. And I think the soundtrack is also one of the best parts of this film. I trust Jordan Peele with my life. He can make any decision he wants because I know it will have been the best one. And number 1 will get a little controversial, but I had to put this at number 1 because it broke my heart, and we all know how much I love to be sad. My number 1 film is Marriage Story. Marriage Story is... it takes something so intimate and puts it on display, but it never feels like an invasion of privacy. It always feels like a friend confiding in you. It doesn't villainize any of the characters. It just kind of lays out the facts and the complexities, and I think that something like love is so much more than we make it out to seem. It is not a simple thing, and it goes through this couple's breakup in a way that you know they love each other. You know they care for each other. That tenderness will always exist, but it's also so difficult to love someone when you're in a position like that. And I think that Marriage Story just, it broke me. I carry those characters with me. Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson both gave the best performances of their careers, and I feel honored to have been able to witness that. The writing is incredible, and it is such a heavy film that still manages to feel so warm, like a hug. And I can't recommend it enough. I can't wait to watch it again. I love films. I love 2019. It was a great year. There are obviously still some that I'm missing. I haven't seen all films, but hopefully I will have very soon. This list is subject to change. It always is. But I hope that this kind of inspired you to go out and watch some of these. Please let me know what you think. Do you have are there any thoughts on this? What were your favorite films? Is there something that I missed? Is there something that you're like, I disagree with you? Please let me know. But yeah, this was pointless. Thank you.